Hello folks, welcome to another video, and hopefully I get this one edited and uploaded, not 2 or 3 weeks later kind of thing. Yeah, because I got some videos that I did probably about 2 weeks ago, so I haven't gotten around to editing them, uploading them. So anyways, yeah, today I will be smoking RP Patel Sun Grown, and to my knowledge, the Sun Grown is supposed to be a Connecticut leaf, but this one looks like it's a little bit darker than a Connecticut, but not quite as dark as a Maduro, and it does have a strong, just the pre-light sniff. It is pretty strong smell to it, but a good smell. So this is probably a medium, I would say a medium to strong cigar. Let's get it lit up. Yeah, this is a Gordo, so it's basically a 6 by 65. I didn't look at the the size of the cigar before I ordered it, so it's my fault. Now that I got it, flip it over. There's always this one spot. Nice smooth draw though. That's and of course RP Patel, he makes a lot of different lines of cigars. Some that he has of course this has his name on it, RP Patel. I think he has a brother. Damn, something Patel, who's trying to get into the cigar. I'm all for it, man. Keep it in the family. Yeah, so he makes different cigar brands. I know the Java did have his blessings or his touching of it with Drew Estate. I believe some of the Drew Estate cigars also had some RP Patel input. Of course, but it's not a bad cigar. His cigars aren't they're medium price. They're not the high end, $15-20 per stick. They're around the $5 to $10 per stick range, depending on the line that you get. So I mentioned in a video that I probably deleted that I had cousins who went to the old country, to visit relatives. Of course, they'll be my relatives too. They'll be my cousins. And I remember them saying, how they seemed content. They didn't really seem to have a lot of stress. He mentioned that they didn't have bills to worry about. They got their monthly government check from Big Brother. Of course, it's a communist country. And I said it before, Asians are liberal-minded, communist-minded at some point. The 4 of the 5 remaining communist country, outright said we are a communist country. What the heck was that? Is over in Asia. Of course, you got Cuba over here in the West. You got China, you got Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia. Just all right there. All those countries right next to China. Of course, China and Vietnam right now are kind of butting heads because the Chinese are trying to claim some islands or claim some land that the Vietnamese folks are saying, hey, this is our land. We got people living here. You guys just can't come down here and say, hey, this is Chinese territory. What you gonna do about it? So yeah, and of course, now Vietnam does have about 90 million people, so they're not exactly a small country. Now, landmass wise, they're not very big. They're a little bit bigger than Japan, landmass wise. Kind of give you an idea. Most folks kind of have an idea of how big Japan is. But yeah, in Japan too. Japan has like I think 120 plus million people living in that island archipelago. I need to puff this more. I don't want the cigar to go out. Let me touch it up. Yeah, now that's the thing too. When you get a cigar that has nice smooth draw, you get a nice smooth puff, nice thick billowy smoke, and smoke is wafting everywhere. So if you were in let's say you have a smoking room in your house, it's normally going to be your man cave. I know there's a guy that did he does pipe reviews, and he said he used to smoke cigars. I didn't go back in his channel far enough to where I guess where he was doing cigar reviews. But anyways, the guy's in his garage. So some guys are in their garage, and he does have his garage door like cracked open partially. You can tell when it's wintertime, he's like all jacket and coat and everything on. And of course, when it's around summertime, he's got his t-shirt on. And of course, for me, during the wintertime, you won't see me out here much at all. I've said it. I'm not going to throw on no sweaters, jacket, and coat to come out and smoke. Yeah, I like cigars, but I don't like them that much where I'm going to be out here shivering, with a coat on. Hey, dog. Yeah, this cigar, I guess might be, the humidor showed 70% humidity, but when I cut it with the V cutter, of course I used a Calibri. Kind of either wasn't a very smooth cut, and it kind of ripped the head a little bit. Kind of sucks. So yeah, so they stayed in the capital, Vientiane, and I guess they stayed in the downtown area, which I guess if you can consider it downtown. And how can you tell you're in a communist country, especially if you're in their capital? Every day, and this is in China too, if you're in Beijing, every day Big Brother will come out, and there'll be a big speaker, loudspeaker, not big speaker, there'll be a loudspeaker all around, I guess, the downtown area, or all around the city, where Big Brother makes announcements. So I talked to my cousins, like, he's like, every morning, like, this guy will come on the loudspeaker, just makes announcements. Like, dude, that's a communist country, man. That's what they do. So I have cousins there. They have land. They don't farm it. It basically, it makes people lazy. It's what's the word, nihilistic, meaning you have, even though that they seem content, but it's nihilistic. There's really no drive to do anything. No, I guess no future. All they do is sit around and wait for the next month's government check to come in. They got all this land that they could farm. Make food. Get food for themselves, or go sell some of it. Now, some people do that, but it looks like a lot of people just sit around and wait for government check, and blow through it within a week or two. So and I didn't say much to him. It's like, yeah, and he's around my age. I was like, if you haven't gotten red pill by now, But I just sort of told them, well, you know, I sort of said, you know, they have no goal. I mean, all they're doing is just sitting around. I mean, yeah, they don't have any bills, so they don't have any stress of bills and stuff like that. They don't have any stress of paying tax, but the country's poor as hell. You know, most of that money they're getting is probably, you know, I'm pretty sure the U.S. probably gives some, some money. You know, I'm pretty sure a lot of that money probably comes from the U.S. Guarantee you, none of it's coming from China. And yes, the Chinese. Speaking of colonization, you know, in modern day, in the Western world, the white man is not colonizing anymore. There's no more places to colonize. So calling the modern day white man colonizers is you can call their ancestors colonizers, yes, you know. You can call I don't know, Asians kind of colonize each other. So, yeah, we sort of stuck around to the Asian region, you know, killed each other, genocide each other, you know, and so Asians kind of just stayed in Asia until modern day, until I say within the last 200 years, when the white man came over. And of course, you know, the Asians didn't, you know, they didn't sit out there arms wide open saying, "White man, welcome." There was a lot of friction, and there's still a lot of friction today. So, but you know, the ones who are colonizing are the Chinese. They're no, they're not doing colonization by force. No, they're coming in with you know, briefcase of money. You know, they're coming in Southeast Asia with briefcases of money, and they're you know, taking out resources, taking out wood, you know, minerals, you know, gold, if there's oil, and they're doing the same thing to Africa. You know, they're going to Africa right now, and of course, all of the infrastructure that they're building, they're not building it for free. They're actually, you know, billing the African nations or African government for building the roads, you know, and the buildings and stuff like that. Because people keep, and I keep hearing people mentioning, you know, the Rwanda raining. You know, people keep mentioning, you know, Rwanda is the Singapore of Africa. So why Singapore? Oh, that's because the Chinese. That's because the Chinese is in Rwanda. And if you look up Singapore, or look up those YouTube's videos of it or pictures of Singapore, yes, it's very built up. Lots of high-rise apartments, lots of high-rise office building. You know, lots of infrastructure. So yeah, the Chinese are in Rwanda building it up, mainly because they want to. Mainly because they want to colonize. Like, hey, you know, we want to, you know, make Rwanda a home away from home. It's the only reason why they're building it up. You know, if the Chinese ever decide to leave and say, "All right, man, Rwandans, you guys take care of all this stuff that we built up," you know, it's going to be, you know, it's going to be Liberia. You know, when the white man left Liberia, if you look at pictures of the capital, what's the name? Capital Liberia. It's a weird name. It's Morville, something like that. Monrovia, which is I think the capital of Liberia. If you look at the picture of Monrovia back in the 50s and today, it's a huge difference. You know, there was I guess a 5-star hotel that's completely run down today. So yeah, so there's that, and that's the thing with communism. Like I said, yes, the government is going to give you a small crumb every month, which is the pay, I guess the living wage, because that's basically what it is. It's the living wage that they're giving to my cousins back in the old country. And for some people, that is enough. It's like, hey, and yeah, I got 10,000 acre, but I'm not going to bother farming it or doing anything. I'm just going to let the land sit. You know, I'm going to let my house, the house. I remember my mom visited about 10 years ago, maybe or so, 10 plus years ago. And you know, and of course she bought them. She took a lot of American money with her. You know, she bought a lot of stuff for them, helped renovate the houses, and they let it go to shit. And that's the same thing would happen in the U.S. You know, if you decide to give a living wage, if you decide to give $3,000, you know, Mr. Andrew Chang, if you decide to give $3,000 to everybody, you know, yeah, a lot of people go, hey, $3,000 is all I need. You know, it will pay for my one, you know, 400 square foot, one bedroom apartment. You know, maybe even without a bathroom. Yeah, now for a bachelor, I had some way back in the days. You know, I had a buddy who I was working with, and yeah, and that's what he rented. He's like, hey man, you know, I'm single. All I need is a I don't know, a 500 square foot apartment. You know, with a they call them studios. I guess the studio style apartment, where it's like just one big ass, well, I guess 500 square foot. She's like, yeah, I just need a bed to come back at night and crash, you know, and a bathroom to go, you know, piss and poop. And of course, being a bachelor, he ate out all the time. I was like, yeah, man, that's you know, yeah, technically you don't need a kitchen and living room. It's just a, you know, a bedroom and bathroom. That's basically what those it's not studio. It's not a word for them. Think about it. It's efficiency. That's it. They're called efficiencies. Efficiency apartments. So it's just one room, about 400 to 500 square feet. Something, I think 300. About 300 square feet to 500 square feet, and with a bathroom. And sometimes there is no bathroom. Yeah, I guess if you're a crackhead, you know, 300 square feet might do you. Man, this cigar smoke's like really getting in my face. There's really no wind, but it's just hovering around me. Yeah, whoa. The house geckos are chasing each other. I guess it's a male gecko chasing a female. She's like, get away from me. Oh, they're fighting. Except the smaller one is running away from the bigger one. Yeah, and geckos do make like a squawking noise, because I have leopard geckos. And if you have a male and a female, you gotta keep them in separate cages. I learned that the hard way. The male will, at least in captivity, they will mate year round. I guess out in the wild, they you know, springtime is when they mate, but in captivity, these suckers were going at it all the time. Yeah, I can hear them squawking. I don't think the mic. Hopefully they don't go into the bug zapper. I don't want it to fry no house gecko. Yeah, so I watched. So A&E basically did a special on the Charlottesville, which was a one-sided, you know, a one-sided, one view documentary. I didn't bother watching it, which kind of reminds me of you know, of course I lived through I lived through all of these I'm going to be mentioning, which is Ruby Ridge, Waco, and that incident in Oregon. So Ruby Ridge. Now remember coming on the news when it happened, and the news spun it as some crazy anti-government guy is holed up in his cabin, and that government agents went to his house and he shot at them, and that's how the news spun it. So as it turns out, I guess it was 2 U.S. Marshals who were in charge of the operation, and either both of these guys or one of these guys had either didn't like this Randy Weaver character, and I think he's passed away by now. So they made up a charge against the guy, saying that he sold too many S's. He sold a sawed-off shotgun to an undercover ATF agent, and that I guess there was an arrest for him, and there was I guess he failed to show up for the court date, so there was I guess a bench warrant for his arrest. So he and his family, I guess, go out to this cabin that's out in Ruby Ridge, which is in, I think, Utah or Colorado. I think it's Utah. And yes, that Ruby Ridge is the I think it's a city out there in Utah. Anyways, so the FBI decides to come do a no-knock warrant. It's the, I guess, FBI, ATF, and U.S. Marshal. And speaking of the ATF, the ATF is the one government agency that both the left and the right don't like. When people say, "Hey man, get rid of the ATF," both left and right are going, "Yeah," nodding their head going, "Yeah man, get rid of the ATF. We don't need those guys. They're a bunch of clowns." Yeah, tobacco, alcohol, tobacco, and firearm. And yes, the government has way too many damn agencies as is. So they're sneaking up on the guy's cabin. Their family dog, of course, is a dog, sees these people coming, starts barking. They shoot the dog, and all hell breaks loose. And then the next day, of course, news gets wind of it. The news crew and everybody, local police and sheriff, all go up there, and then they got the guy's cabin surrounded. And like I said, either this guy had some information on the deep state, or the 2 marshals who were in charge of this operation, had either knew something about the guy, or the guy had something on them, or they just didn't like this Randy Weaver character. Yeah, so a sniper shoots and kills the guy's son, and I think on the same day or the next day shoots and kills the guy's wife, and these people are unarmed, so they shot and killed an unarmed 15-year-old kid. They shot and killed his wife, who was sitting in a chair breastfeeding her baby. So he killed both her and the baby because they shot her through the chest. Yeah, so these guys were some, we're talking about, Russian, communist stuff here. Big brother's coming to get you kind of stuff. That didn't say, "Hey, this shit only happens in Russia." So it turns out the Randy Weaver ends up he's able to kill one of the U.S. Marshal that I guess had a thing. Whoa! You house geckos behave. They're fat too. There's a lot of bugs they're eating. That's good. I'd rather they eat the bugs than the bugs come in my house. So So he's also at the cabin with one of his buddy who. So after he kills that U.S. Marshal guy, his buddy talks him into surrendering. So and he surrendered. He didn't get shot or anything like that when he surrendered. Because yeah, even with all of the, and of course, if it happened today, there would be, I don't know how they would cover it, because the MSM today is like way worse than it was back in the 90s. So the guy ended up suing the FBI, the ATF, and he wins, which meant that they falsified all this information against him, ended up killing his family basically. And that's the thing, thinking back, I was kind of hoping the guy should have went Rambo on their ass. Because one, you kill a man's family, you kill this kid, you kill this wife, and you kill this newborn baby. If his buddy wasn't there to talk him into surrendering, the guy probably would have went out in a hell of a bullet. And of course, when he surrendered and they went in and took all the guns out of his house, they were all bolt action hunting rifles. Okay, so this guy wasn't hiding, machine guns. There wasn't any sawed-off shotguns in his stockpile. It was just all bolt action hunting rifles. So yeah, so they made all that stuff up about the sawed-off shotgun, and yeah, and I'll say all he got was 3.1 million, which to me is not in I guess back then compared to now would probably be somewhere around close to $10 million, but still there's no amount of money to replace your wife and your 2 kids. Unless you hate your family, but that's a different story. And then we come to Waco, and yeah, and like I said, I remember watching both of these on TV, and and of course in Waco they had on the news every day, and they spun it off as these crazy cultists. Of course, they're on their own private property, so you can, if you buy a bunch, it's just kind of like the what is that? I think they're in I think they're also here in Texas. It's another religious sect where it's like a whole bunch of families living together, but they're on their own private land. And in the case of David Koresh, I have a feeling he crossed the deep state, or he had information on the deep state or on Bill Clinton, and he was basically marked for death. The problem was that he had 75 other people, or was it 90? So, you see, it was 75 or 90 people, that had to be taken care of along with him. Yeah, so in the case of Waco, yes, those people were marked for murder. They weren't. If you look at the declassified information, some of them were trying to flee and were shot while they were fleeing. Those who fell down were ran over by the tank that was there, so they weren't allowed to surrender. And yes, this is our government doing this to us. Yeah, and that's the reason why we need the Second Amendment. And yes, they were saying, and I remember watching the news, they were saying that they had grenades, they had machine guns, that they had the pretense was that they had illegal weapons in their possession, and that they were abusing the children that was there. But now, as it turns out, that's all a lie. All the weapons they had weren't machine guns. They weren't abusing the children. And again, David Koresh had something either on the Clintons. Yes, both of these is under Bill Clinton, by the way. And yeah, he was marked for death. And again, unfortunately, he had all these other people with him that had to be silenced. And yeah, and they did all of this right in front of cameras, right in front of cameras rolling live. And of course, we watching on TV can only go by what the news feeds us, which is these are some crazy religious cults. They got these illegal guns. They're abusing children. Things like that. Yes, and yes, under Clinton, there was, and I remember too, there was a huge crackdown on militias. I remember they were going after all of these militia groups across the U.S. And of course when the news reports on it, they would report, there's this new militia in Kentucky, and they're very dangerous. They have all of these machine guns, and rocket launchers. Of course, this is back before, racist was used, overblown, but they didn't use that term. They just labeled them as anarchists, who wanted to take down the government. They have all these illegal weapons, and this was after, of course, the Waco incident, and they're going after a lot of these militias that was across the U.S. And then we, of course, under Obama, we had that Oregon incident, which I got to go back and read up on some, because again, the same thing. TVs are rolling live. TVs are rolling live. These people were executed, on live TV, or at least on film. And and again, these folks might have had something on the deep state, that they claim sovereignty, or they claim that they're on their own private land, and that the government came, and I got to read into it. So all the stuff I'm saying could be wrong, and that the government doesn't have any rights to the land. So basically, it was a land dispute between these people and the U.S. And supposedly their land was belonged to the federal government, and the feds came in and just pretty much killed them. And of course, so basically what I'm saying is, if you're going to cross the deep state, or if you got information on the deep state, just make sure there's not a Democrat president that's in office, because they will come and kill you. And of course, compare that to what we're seeing today. In all of these chop zones. That was in Seattle, Portland. They tried it in D.C. They tried it in New York. They tried it in Austin. Luckily in all these places, New York, Austin, Washington D.C., Atlanta, all got shut down by the local police. But yes, the people in the Portland and Seattle chop zones had guns. I'm pretty sure a lot of them were illegal. Damn bugs are crawling up my leg. Hey geckos, you're not eating enough bugs. They're like clinging to the wall on the side of the porch here. Yeah, I'm smoking this pretty steadily. It's about a mild cigar. If this was a strong cigar, I would actually be feeling the effects by now, but I'm doing okay. But yes, know when to put down the stick, because you don't want to smoke a cigar, especially a strong cigar, to the point that you get sick, and it doesn't feel good. I've had that. You have to my suggestion is take a chug of some water. You don't have to drink a whole 8 ounces, but drink about 3-4 ounces. Take a little bit of caffeine. Go lie down. Or, you know, if you're into, you know, if it's late at night, of course you can't do it. But you know, if it's still in the daytime, you can, you know, take some water, some caffeine, go out and take a walk. If you're able to, that is. Yeah, because the walking will bring up your heart rate, bring up your blood pressure. Because basically, what nicotine does is it lowers your blood pressure, and probably, and that's what makes people what you call that. That's what calms a lot of people. Like if you're hyped up, you know, or something like that. A lot of smokers will go smoke a cigarette to calm down. That's basically what nicotine does. Yeah, so a lot of those guns in those chop zones are probably illegal, and of course they were used to kill nothing but minorities, people of color were killed, no white folks were killed. And yes, the Antifa, speaking of chop, the Antifa hero finally turned himself in. Now the police found the guy, they knew where he was at, they just didn't go get him. You know, they're like, hey man, you know, please turn yourself in, pretty please. So yes, he finally turned himself in, and here's the thing, nothing is going to happen to the guy. You know, if anything, you know, he might get charged for assault on that tranny. But as for the assault on the white guy, probably nothing. And again, like I said, probably nothing is going to happen to this guy. You know, he's going to be arrested, and that's about it. There's probably going to be no charge, and if there's any charge, it's probably going to get dropped. So if anything, and I'm pretty sure the guy in the white truck that got beat up was probably a white liberal, and you know, he's not going to. No, that guy's not going to learn his lesson. He's still going to be a liberal, and he's going to get beat up again. Yes, and finally the DNC, and of course tomorrow is going to be beginning of the RNC. I probably won't watch that either. I didn't watch the DNC. I'll probably watch Tucker Carlson, see what he says about it. But yeah, I'm not going to watch the RNC either. The thing with these conventions is that this is when you actually try to get the moderates to vote for you. So during the primaries is when you really pander to your base. You know, the 10% Democrat, the 10% Republicans, you know, people who are going to vote for you anyways, or people who yeah, that's when the pandering occurs. But you know, I guess the Democrats didn't get the memo. So when they had their DNC convention, you know, they still kept pandering as if they're pandering to their 10% base that's going to vote Democrat anyways. So yeah, so during the convention is when you actually try to show that, hey, you know, this is what we're about. You know, this is what our candidate is about. You know, it's all of you moderate who are either left-leaning or right-leaning, you know, please vote for us. You know, thank you, kind of thing. So yeah, I'm not going to bother watching it. Yeah, the DNC, I didn't watch that either. Of course, I watched highlight reels from political YouTubers, Tucker Carlson, and you know, and of course there's this. You know, they keep saying, hey, a lot of blacks are leaving the Democratic Party. You know, my thing is, you know, 90% blacks are still going to vote Democrat. So those who are leaving is not enough. You know, it's probably like what, 2%. They're saying Trump might get, you know, 3% of the black vote. You know, and of course the 7% is going to be undecided, and you got 90% that's going to be voting Democrat. Touch up my cigar. Yes, and of course, you know, what's in the news is that I guess that black lady is I think it was Kimberly something's her name. That's running for the seat that's been vacated by Mr. Elijah Cummings. 50 years of doing nothing for the people in Baltimore. Yes, Baltimore falls under his district, and yeah, she's running under the GOP. Whoa! Don't it? She's not going to win. She has a tall hill to climb. Actually, it's going to be a mountain. I mean, she has a mountain to climb. And yeah, this ash is hanging in there. Of course, I am puffing on it pretty regularly. Of course, she's not going to win. Supposedly, his granddaughter, I think, or one of his relatives is also running on the Democrat ticket, and she's probably going to win. And yeah, of course, there's the saying, listen to what they say, but watch carefully what they do. So I have a feeling that this lady was probably a former Democrat, one of those who switched sides, one of those black folks who was Democrat, now they're Republican. Watch their actions and listen to what they say. But action speaks louder than words. I hope she wins. I doubt she's going to win, though. Let's see, what else in the news? I think that's about it. I don't have much more. Other than this RNC coming up. I've pretty much given up on BitChute. I used to log in just about every other day, or to check up on alternate news and such. But ever since BitChute started censoring, it's already past mid-March, and supposedly BitChute was going to come up with their own chat system, and it hasn't been done. Still using Discuss, which is disgusting. Because it started with Discuss. A few months ago, they started censoring. I said, "What the hell's going on? Why am I? Why aren't my chats showing up?" And then BitChute started censoring channels, even satire channels that that make fun of political. Well, of course, I guess you can make fun of the Republican and not get any backlash. But if your channel makes fun of the Democrats, you're going to get backlash. Even from BitChute. So I might just. I was thinking about deleting my account, but I guess I'll keep my account and just disable the. And of course, it hasn't really been working, which is basically mirroring the videos from YouTube to BitChute. That hasn't really been working, so I'll probably go ahead and disable that feature. Let's see here. So I'll upload BitChute specific only videos, but yeah, it's going pretty good. Let's see here. Well, yeah, and this is a 65 gauge, so I expect the ash to hang on for a long time. Now, of course, if I put this down and then go and pick up the cigar, the ash will fall off, which I have done. And yeah, and you want to keep the ash on until it falls off, because the ash does act as an insulator to the cherry, which is the burn point. Yeah, this would be perfect. It was like a 55, even a 60 gauge, but I don't really, I don't really prefer Gordos. I don't really prefer Presidentes, because this is a lot of cigar to smoke, and if you decide to smoke a Churchill, a Gordo, or a Presidente, you better sit down. It better be after lunch. In the evenings, I ain't got nowhere to go. I can relax. I can sit down enjoy a smoke for the next hour. Yeah, this would be an hour smoke for me, or an hour and more, since I'm yakking. Well, I don't really have anything else to add. And and of course I did that one gun video of mine, and I'll probably head out to the range again the next couple of days. I'll keep saying it, but I keep putting it out. I was like, yeah, tired. And of course, you have to do it on your day off. So, if you have the weekend off, the range is cluttered with people. It's best to go on the weekday. So if you can get a weekday off, go on a weekday when it's not that many people, and you don't have a guy next to you, firing off his 300 Winchester rifle, or a guy next to you shooting off his 44 Magnum handgun. Now, I do prefer outdoor range to indoor, mainly because it is outdoor. You don't get the the blast of the gun as much when you're outdoor. I also enjoy outdoor more because you're outdoor. Indoor range it tends to be cramped. They try to cram as much stall as they can into each of the indoor ranges. You're a lot closer to each other as opposed because at the outdoor range you get a huge you get like a huge 6-foot table to yourself, and then as opposed to indoor range you're literally like a 2-foot space, and you're like I'm not very big to begin with, but still it's like, man, I got a whole lot of place to put my stuff. And yeah, and I guess I'll close it on this. So yes, a lot of liberals are the ones who are buying guns. I was at the gun store to look for ammo, which of course they didn't have any. And yes, guns were flying off the shelves. When I was there were people just lined up, just buying gun after gun after guns. A lot of people are buying, AR style rifles. And right now, of course, the problem is there's no ammo. The online sellers have ammo, but the problem with buying online is that not only you got to pay for tax, but you got to pay for the shipping. So it's like double tax. And as opposed to just buying it from a retail store near your house, where you only just pay for the tax, you got to worry about paying for shipping. And of course, if you're able to buy online, a lot of them are limiting to 4 to 5 per boxes per order. 9 millimeters specifically. 223s. A lot of the websites are limiting the amount. If you can find a website that doesn't limit the amount, yeah, buy as many as you can or as you can afford. And from what I'm reading is that a lot of these folks, especially these libs, who are buying these guns because they're afraid of tyrannical King Trump. If Biden wins, Trump won't leave office. We're going to have to force him out by force. Of course, many of them can't find ammo, number one. Many of them have never shot the new shiny gun that they purchased. So it's just basically a paperweight. You can use it to club the intruder that's kicking in your door. That darn bugs. Yeah, so I guess when it comes to Trump, liberals support the Second Amendment. When it comes to their Trump derangement syndrome, and yeah, so hopefully we'll see what comes of the RNC next week. Of course, CNN probably won't even cover it, MSNBC probably won't cover it. Of course, you'll definitely get, Fox will definitely be covering it, but the lamestream media won't cover it. Not if they do, that they'll badmouth it, or they'll cut away when it's like, when it gets to like a important part, and it's going to be the same as the DNC. That they have it. I guess they have like their daytime. They have like their daytime guests, and then they have like their evening guests, which is like the prime time guests. And of course Tucker Carlson, he had a segment that's like, the DNC convention that they didn't want you to see. And I guess the crazies or the super progressives were the ones that they put on during the day, and then like the big names were the ones that they put on during prime time. And watching that Tucker Carlson segment, I was like, man, these guys aren't even, they're not even hiding it. They're talking about, just go ahead and get rid of the Constitution, kind of thing. Kill white people, stuff like that. I was like, man, these are the nuts that come on during the daytime. Right, well, that's it. The cigar ash just kind of holding. Again, this is a Gordo, a 65 gauge, so the ash should hold probably for another half an inch before it falls off. So yeah, don't get sick, and if you do, take your hydroxychloroquine. Stay out of Portland, stay out of Seattle, stay out of California. It is on fire. And speaking of California, I guess I'll come back here real quick. And people have been saying, I remember last year, the forest in California burned all summer, from like June all the way to September, until the rains came and put it out. This time the fires waited until August, but the problem is it's like burning, burning super fast. And even people in California saying is that, hey, the forest department in California aren't doing any fire breaks. They're not doing any controlled burns. They're not clearing out the underbrush. I remember someone mentioning there's about 2 foot to 3 foot of underbrushes in certain areas. In a lot of areas, it's compacted down from humans and animals walking on it. And they're not clearing that out, and of course it's because of the eco warriors. They don't want it's not the small woodland creatures that they're worried about. They don't want someone mentioned that there's some sort of like a 3-inch lizard that lives in the underbrush, and if you clear out the underbrush, that's getting rid of the lizard's habitat. So the eco warriors are the one that are protesting the California government, and they're going, yeah, okay, we'll leave the underbrush. We'll leave the underbrush so that when a forest fire does happen, it'll burn out of control, which has happened pretty much every year. And this year is no different, except for this year, it's since it waited till August, it got extra dry, no rain, and it is burning like super fast, and no sympathy for the celebrities who's got their $1 million houses up in the hills that's burning. I'll take a liberal talking point. You got insurance, and hopefully you got fire insurance, or specifically forest fire insurance. And so I guess, yeah, someone mentioned that too. It's like, well, a lot of these houses have insurance, but you have to specifically specify forest fire insurance, and not just fire where it's an accident where there's an electrical spark in the attic, it catches the house on fire, or some sort of accident that catches the house on fire. But you have to specify with the insurance company that you want forest fire insurance. And I heard it's like really, really expensive, especially if you live in California. Now, any insurance in California is expensive. Yeah, and of course I haven't spoken with my cousins as of late, since last time, talking about the rolling blackout, pounding their chest, talking about, hey, we are 100% clean energy, but we can't afford to use our heater, our AC, and we got rolling blackouts. Yeah, and I was on a forum, someone mentions, okay, if California has all of this clean energy, all of this and that, why is their electrical so expensive? And why are they still having rolling blackouts? Well, California has had rolling blackouts pretty much forever. I remember back into the 90s. Of course, here in Texas, we never had rolling blackouts. Okay, well, that's it. Thank you for watching. If you're in California, if you are a conservative, please stay there. If you are a liberal, please stay there. Conservatives, please stay there and fight the good fight. They keep saying Texas is going. Well, Texas might turn into a what's that word? I'm trying to think of a flip state. No, not a flip state. A state that can turn either red or blue during election. Damn it, I forgot what it's called. There's a word for it. Hold on here. Let me get a drink of water. That might jog my memory. Of course, you got key states, meaning these guys are going to vote Democrats, this state's going to vote Republican. Then you had your well, actually, key states are states that are going to give you the most electoral college votes. But of course, and again, you have key Democrat states and key Republican states too. Damn, I was trying to think of the word here. Okay, well, I can't think of it, but it's basically a state that can flip either way during elections. So Texas may not turn blue forever, but it might be one of those states that flips back and forth during elections. Kind of like during the midterms where Ted Cruz, and I didn't know the guy. Yeah, of course his parents or his I think great grandparents are Cubans. His parents are Americans, but he's born, and I don't know if he's raised in Canada. He's born and raised in Canada, or just born in Canada. I don't know. But either way, I have a feeling he will definitely throw his name in the hat come 2020. And yes, and Cruz was one of the candidates that I backed during 2016 election. But when they finally said, hey, when we're doing Donald Trump, I was like, okay, man, sure, I'll get behind Donald Trump. So we'll see. And yes, okay, and I'll thank you for watching, and you have a good day.